All right, welcome everyone to the Achieve Through Progression show, or now short ATP show. Just a reminder, this show, we interview individuals who are successful in whatever they're doing. So in the past episode, we interviewed my cousin and we talked about business stuff. The second episode, we interviewed one of my friends and we talked about her and her video gaming career. So now this next episode, third episode, we're actually going to interview a buddy of mine, Nabil Lahlou. And he is a powerlifter, professional powerlifter. And so this is more in the realm of what I do. So obviously I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I do personal training. I train people for bodybuilding shows and powerlifting meets. So this is someone who's more in my field of work. So it's going to be fun to talk to him about kind of how he goes about doing things, how he has gotten so successful at the young age of 23. So without further ado, let's introduce you to my next guest, Nabil Lahlou.
How's it going, Brian?
Good, man.
Thanks
So first of all, people call you the Phenom, correct?
Good question. Yeah, they do.
Did you give yourself that name or did someone else give you that name?
All right, I'm glad you asked the question because a lot of people assume that I called myself the Phenom. That's why it's like, I actually didn't call myself the Phenom.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I posted a video of me like a while back doing a deadlifts, and that got reposted on this page called King of the Lifts.
Yeah.
And I guess, the owner of this page named Ryan decided to call me the French Phenom because when he went through, I guess, my bio on my IG, he saw a French flag, and nobody knew me at that time.
Yeah.
I was just doing my own thing, having fun with the deadlifts. And he decided to call me the French Phenom. So since that, you know what, I was like, that's kind of cool, you know?
So you're just going to go with it.
I'm just going to roll with it and kept it this whole time.
Hey, man, that's a pretty cool nickname. So I wish I had something cool like that.
It's pretty cool.
Mine's just Bowtai.
But it's cool too.
So I always like to start all of my shows with a simple question. How do you define success? So for like you and what you do, what dictates success for you?
That's a pretty good question. So, I mean, I guess success is kind of personal. It depends on what you want to achieve in life. I feel like there's a big misconception when it comes to success. People will tie it to making a lot of money. And I don't believe in like, yes, it will eventually lead you to make a good amount of money. But I define success more as what the meaning of the journey, what matters to you. So to me, success is just like going with the journey, appreciating the journey every single day.
Yeah.
That's what I would describe success for me.
Yeah, so like truly enjoying the whole process of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, not just kind of just worrying about the end goal.
Because at the end of the day, when you die, you're not going to die with your money. You know?
Yeah.
What you remember is the memories. So.
Yeah, man, that's definitely a good point.
Yeah.
So let's see. Actually, hopefully the sound is good. There's someone like mowing the lawn outside, and you're actually the first guest I've had in this office space. So this is just my home office, but I've tried to turn it into a little podcast room. So
it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I got some sound foam in here. Got a little on-air sign that a friend of mine got me. So
that's awesome.
This is the first one. So hopefully this sounds good for all of you. So obviously you've got an accent, and like you said, someone went online and saw that you were French. So can you give me like a basic quick little story about where you're from, your upbringing, like were you born here, what you did as a kid? Give me a little backstory.
All right. So let's rewind a few years. So I was born and grew up in the south of France.
Okay.
So Nice, which is the French Riviera, right at the border of Italy. Stayed there for literally all my life, 18 years.
Okay.
I did play sports before, just one sport. My dad got me hooked to tennis.
Okay.
When I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I kept going with tennis for a good 11, 12 years. So basically I was playing tennis up. It was like 17, like a lot. Like I had tournaments every weekend.
Okay.
Played nationals. I was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But after a while, I was like, you know what? Like, maybe that's not for me. Maybe that's more so like my dad's journey. So it's like, when your dad or a family member puts you in sport, it's like, oh, you do good. But after a while, you're just like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna switch it up. So Yeah. Grew up playing tennis. Grew up in the south of France, and then I moved here when I was about to be 19.
Okay.
So about 4 years now.
Okay, so you've only been here for 4 years.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it was not easy every day. Like when I first came here, I had a language barrier, so I had to learn the language. I was not very good at English, but then I went to college. I'm still in college, currently studying graphic design at Mason.
Okay.
But I graduate soon. But
Man,
yeah, I was placed there, and I was forced to learn the language. Honestly, so it was pretty cool.
I mean, your English is pretty good for someone who's only been here for 4 years.
Thank you. I mean, that's the thing. When you're young, I feel like you can, from the age up to like 18 up to like 30 or 25-ish, you can learn a lot of English. It's like now or never.
And it's going to be a lot easier to learn when you're younger.
Yes, it'll be, especially if you place, like you're forced, you know?
Yeah.
And I still remember the first time I dreamed in English, I was like, that was very awkward. I was like, that's not usual. But yeah.
Now that's crazy. And you went to Mason, so you're the third, three of my guests.
Yeah, everybody goes to Mason.
Everyone went to Mason. That's crazy. Yeah. My cousin went to Mason. The girl that I interviewed for the second one went to Mason, and you went to Mason, so that's pretty cool. So you only played tennis when you were back in France then? Yep.
And
so did that
fan. I loved it so much, and then just like.
So if you loved it so much, like.
I still feel the urge to
play.
Like go hit some ball, go on a tennis court. Obviously, I don't follow as much, but I still sometimes feel the urge because it's like a lot of time in my life, like my whole childhood.
Did it crush your dad when you decided not to play professionally?
Not really, because he knew I always had the potential to do something.
Yeah.
But for that, like, I would have had to stop everything I'm doing, because I've seen and I had a lot of friends, and now they're probably top 500 ATP.
Yeah.
So. But they don't do anything but like spending 6 hours on a tennis court every day and just like eating and sleeping.
And is that what you were doing like during your childhood?
So I was almost like every day, like 4 hours. And
damn.
It's like, I remember my first 3 years of high school. I was placed in this high school where it's like you do half school, half sport. So I was going to school only from 8 to 12, right? But then I was training with that. They had like an institution. I was training with them the whole afternoon, basically.
Damn.
And then finish school. So my days were pretty busy, pretty packed for like 2-3 years, and just decided to like, it wasn't probably not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what was there something that made you realize it wasn't for you? Like what triggered you? Like, all right.
Honestly, I felt like I was kind of like. I mean, I had friends and stuff, and I always made sacrifices on my life because of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I see them having fun and going out and, spending time partying and stuff. So I was like, let me pause it.
Okay.
Let me try to like put myself out there, because I was not very social. I was just in my bubble this whole time, just school and tennis and repeats. So I stopped it, and then I eventually realized that, like, damn, I missed out. You know? And then I was like, it's okay, I'm just gonna take it as is. Maybe God has something else planned for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when did you quit tennis exactly?
Around 17.
So you were still in France?
Yeah, I was still in France.
So how many years in France were you when you didn't play tennis? Just like a year?
Or about 6 months, a year. Yeah,
so what did you do for that free time? Now that you didn't have to train so hard, what did you do with your time?
I was just basically just having fun with my friends.
Just hanging out with your friends.
Going out, like experiencing clubbing and stuff.
Okay. Clubbing at 16, 17?
The thing is, I know in France they don't really care. Like it's like
must be nice.
Yeah, it must be. So if you go out with a group of friends and stuff, like they don't really care. It's not like it's the first thing when I came here. The first thing that shocked me was the culture, like how everything is so close and rules and stuff. Everyone has to respect it, or else you get in trouble. So that was a big adjustment for me.
Huh.
Yeah.
So when you came. Why did you move? I'm assuming you moved with your family here, correct?
So my parents stayed back in France.
Okay.
But I have an uncle that lives in McLean, Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
So I moved to his place.
Okay.
At first, and then I got my own place. Now I'm back at his place.
Okay.
But Yeah, my parents stayed there in France, and I just basically, the thing is, I came here and I was like, my mom was like, go visit your uncle, because I was obviously used to come here probably every like 4 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
just to visit, and I used to love it. I was like, oh my god, the American dream is
Yeah.
beautiful and stuff. So when I came here, I was like, you know what, might as well just stay and try to do school here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what made you stay or decide to move away from France? Was it school?
It's school,
Okay.
school mainly, and I wanted like a different change, different culture, experience new stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. I came around like August. I was like, I'm gonna try to stay here until the end of the year.
Okay.
If I'm able to go to school, like if obviously I had to like do all that transcript thing, transferring all that stuff to credit and stuff, which went pretty smooth. And I was like, okay. And then I went to Nova, and then I finished Nova and Mason.
Okay.
And since then I was just like, I'm not regretting at all.
Yeah.
It was a good choice.
So when you were here, you were basically a full-time student then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And were you working at all? Did you like find jobs, part-time jobs or
A
anything
little
like that?
bit, yeah. My uncle used to own a bakery, so on the weekends
Yeah.
I used to do like farmers market for like 2-3 days, and then I did work. Where did I work? I worked at West Ham right here. Yeah, and I did that for a year and a half, and then once I started coaching, I've been coaching virtually for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's bringing me enough revenue. I don't need to do like
A part-time job anymore?
Yeah, I can just be self-employed,
Yeah.
work for somebody, and yeah.
Okay.
Get paychecks.
Cool. So that leads us to like kind of the bulk of this interview. How did you get into powerlifting? Like, so because when I envision tennis players, they're not powerlifters
At all. At all.
So how does someone who has spent almost his entire life playing tennis, how did you even get into powerlifting?
It's a good question. So when I came here, I was extremely insecure by my own body and how I felt, because I was pretty small. Because tennis players, they don't care about how they look. There's probably just one player that looks big. It's Rafael Nadal.
Yeah.
Besides this guy, everybody is pretty like skinny and tall. All you want to be on a tennis court is be as explosive as possible.
Yeah, you just need to be quick and agile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you're big, I mean, but I do believe that some of those tennis players might have potential in the sport too, powerlifting.
Yeah.
But that's not the question. I was always insecure and I wanted to change.
Okay.
So I just said, you know what? Let's go try to go to the gym. Because when I first came here, I felt very small. Because I was already small. But coming in here and like seeing everybody around me, even people that now to me they look like decent size, normal size.
Yeah.
I still felt very, very insecure about how I looked.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just go to the gym and try to feel it out. So I just started with like machines and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was all right, but I was not really hooked to it. And then I found a few YouTubers doing like home workouts, more like calisthenics,
Okay.
bodyweight stuff. So I started doing that for like a good 5-6 months, and I loved it. I was so happy because I was chasing, for example, a number of pull-ups or a number of chin-ups, a number of dips. My first muscle up, I still remember.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. So
Yeah.
it was like coming from a tennis background, I kind of transferred the mindset that I had, that rage. I only want to be. I was very competitive, and I always put that into myself too, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So I transferred that to the lifting, and after 6 months, I did put a little bit of size. I would say about 5-10 pounds of muscles.
How much did you weigh? Do you know about?
110 pounds, man.
110?
Yeah, yes, I could show you pictures. I was 110 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah, very small. And then I loved it, put some size on, and then it kept going. And then I remember buying my dad brought me a pair of squat shoes from France because I needed one. And once I put it on, I just started squatting more often.
Okay.
I still didn't touch deadlift at that time.
Okay.
I was not really, didn't know how to do it. So squatting, and then when I had that pair of squat shoes, I started doing more like an Olympic weightlifting style.
Okay.
So I picked that up for a little bit, like I would say 4 months.
Okay.
And I kept with it. I was working on my clean and jerks, and still it's good because I still remain explosive. I didn't put size too fast. I just like was still mobile. I still don't know, like right now, if I could probably do like some clean jerk and snatch, but my mobility will definitely be like a little less than what it used to at that time. And then once I was squatting so like that often, and I was like, I just love the compound movements more.
Okay.
And I just kept doing squat, bench, and deadlift almost every day, just because to me, I was always like interested into like chasing a number
Yeah.
rather than chasing a physique.
Yeah.
Because I always thought like I had the ideology of like, no matter what happened, if you keep lifting heavy on the long run, if you like at the linear path, you'll still pull on quad muscle throughout the years. You know,
you're gonna get bigger. The stronger you get, the bigger you're gonna get, right? To some
Exactly.
extent.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and squat, bench, deadlift every day up until the moment I was like, oh, I actually have some potential, and I started like posting more regularly. And
Did someone tell you you have potential, or did you yourself realize you're like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at powerlifting?
so I realized on my own when after 6 months of doing powerlifting, when I checked state records,
Okay.
Virginia, on the USPA database, and I was like, I'm not too far off. Honestly, I'm not too far off. So maybe give it another like 6 months and compete.
I think it takes a certain individual to lift weights and then go online to check what the records are.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like that's kind of like who you are? Because here, I've lifted for well over 10 years. I don't think I've ever looked at what the record for squat, bench, and deadlift is in my weight class.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't care.
Yeah.
So like, I guess my question is like, you know, obviously you cared about the numbers and being the best. Like, what made you decide that, all right, I'm going to pursue powerlifting numbers and I want my name on that list to be the best?
I mean, again, it comes back to the same point where like I'm very competitive.
Just your competitiveness?
Competitiveness.
Because obviously when you were playing tennis, you were still competitive, right?
And I was not the nicest kid. I remember I was like screaming on the court, like smashing rackets.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you ever like breaking rackets because you
Yeah.
lost a point?
Like matches. I lost tournaments just because of that too.
Yeah.
I was a kid. So,
Okay.
And grew up and learned from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Learned to tame my anger a little bit more. But yeah, there's the competitiveness, and I always wanted to do as best as I could, no matter what. So
Okay.
competitiveness, I would say, for that.
And so, not everyone knows what powerlifting is, and they don't know the difference between powerlifting, weightlifting. So I'm going to let you explain, what is powerlifting? What does that comprise of? What is it exactly? How does it like work?
Okay, so powerlifting, like any other lifting sports, it's divided by weight classes and age group. So you have your own age group. For example, like teens, juniors. Juniors are like from when you turn 19 up to 20, up until you turn 24. So you have the whole year. When you're 23, you're still a junior.
Okay.
And then you enter the open class,
Okay.
which is 24 and up.
Okay.
And then you have also the master class and stuff.
Okay.
Again, divided by weight classes. There's only three movements that you're going to do when it comes to competing. You'll start with the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, which sum up to total. With that total, you will be classified as...
Like you get ranked based on your total.
Exactly, you get ranked based on the total. When you compete, you get 3 attempts on each lift, right? Squat 3 attempts, then bench 3 attempts, and then deadlift 3 attempts. So essentially, it's only 9 lifts that you're doing, and that will last the whole day.
Yeah.
So
and it's in that specific order, right?
It's not a specific order.
Yeah.
And again, when you compete, you have rules. It's not do a regular squat. You have 3 referees in front of you that tell you squat commands. You gotta make sure like there's a rule book that you can read to make sure you know what you're doing, and also they do the rule briefing before the competition.
So like squat, for instance, you got to go to a certain depth. Like you can't like do like a half squat.
Exactly, that will not count. That's why they red light you and doesn't count. And I guess when it comes, I feel like a lot of people think that, for example, you go and squat, you squat 250 pounds, right? For example, on the first attempt, and it doesn't. You miss it. For example, first thing you miss it, and you think you can go back down, but you can't. It's either you retake that same lift or you go up. Yeah. So that's why it's kind of like challenging sometimes.
And then there's there's strategy to it. Like there's what people call openers and stuff. Something that you're supposed to be able to pretty much for sure do, right? So
or good 3 reps, I would say.
So yeah, you get 3 attempts on each lift, and it goes in order: squat, bench, deadlift. Then you get the total, and that's how you're ranked as like if you're the best or not, right?
Exactly.
Are you currently the best? in your weight class?
So I could check right now. I'm the best at deadlifts.
Okay.
I'm number one spot in open powerlifting, meaning in any age group or weight classes around all federation of my weight class. I'm number one tied. So I was able to deadlift in competition 683 pounds under 148.
Yeah.
So
you're a deadlift specialist.
Deadlift specialist. That's what.
Do you like being called that?
It's it's funny. Like,
is it like an insult?
No,
because
it's not
they're
true.
like,
It's
all right,
not
man,
true.
you suck at squat and bench, but you're really good at deadlift.
I suck at bench. Squat is alright because I still can. My best squat in competition was 525.
So it's still pretty good.
Still pretty good for a human my size. But the best in my weight class already squats like in the 560, 570, and they already press 365, 370. My best bench press in comp was 292. So, I mean, I look at it as those people, they've probably been lifting since like they're 16. I started bench pressing, period, like 3-4 years
18,
max.
19 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm still young.
Yeah.
And it takes time. So
just as a joke at my gym, District Barbell, I always like to point fun and say that bench press is the only lift I have on you.
It is. It is.
I can't squat or deadlift more than you, but I can bench more than you.
Hey,
but you're getting close though.
I'm working on it. It takes time. It takes time. Dedication.
Yeah. So like, when you started deadlifting, like, I mean, not deadlifting. When you started powerlifting, were you by yourself? Did you have any friends that did it? Like in the beginning stages?
In the beginning stages, I had a training partner.
Okay.
For a good 6 months, but that guy was more oriented towards like bodybuilding.
Okay.
So I guess when we used to lift, go to Gold's gym, even go to yours, like we were training together, I was pushing him to do his heavy compounds because that's what I like doing. Mm-hmm. But then after that, he was pushing me, hitting more accessories such as like cable
bodybuilding
flies,
stuff, the bicep curls.
It kind of helped. It kind of helped because I did pull a little bit more size from that.
Yeah.
But then after that, once I started gradually getting better, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we were kind of in a lockdown. We couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Didn't you build your own home gym during that time?
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? I love this so much. I can't let it go. So I just went to Home Depot, build a platform, build a squat rack, bought some weights here and there in the barbell. So
you are truly dedicated. When everything is shut down, you decided to build your own home gym out of wood.
Out of wood, like straight up wood, man. You know, for the squat rack, it was literally, I bought 2 buckets. I filled them with cement and I put like
2x4s in there, right?
2x4s in there. And
I think I remember seeing a picture of that.
Yeah, and it was kind of sketchy, like having like 400 or 500 pounds.
That's what I mean. Like I would never do that, man.
Yeah, but it worked.
But I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
I made it work.
So, when you started, like, I guess when you started getting serious with powerlifting, what were your numbers at that point? Like, what was your body weight? Mm-hmm. And then, like, let's just say in that first year or so of like seriously powerlifting, what was your numbers for squat, bench, and deadlift?
So my deadlift was 500 pounds, which was a conventional deadlift.
Okay.
Actually did it at your gym. My best squat was 365 for 2.
Okay.
Which I done at your gym.
Yeah.
And my best bench press was raw. Paused to competition standard was 230.
Okay.
230.
And do you remember about how much you weighed at that time?
I was definitely 145.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm a little bit more heavier.
Yeah.
I like work around 158. But that's why now, since after the years and stuff, I know what to do. I can water cut for the meet, just like an MMA fighter.
Yeah. Just like fighters.
You get to recomp for a day.
So then now, what is your current best numbers for squat, bench, and deadlift, and at what body weight?
Okay. So I squatted 540 around 158.
Okay.
In training, my best deadlift with no strap, which was a sumo deadlift, 730 with no strap. With straps on, I did 785.
785?
Yes.
So you've almost done 800 pounds with straps on?
Dude, that was, I don't even know.
What?
I guess I was kind of blessed with leverages, because when it comes to lifting, it's not so about like being strong. It's, for me, I'm very technical. So I have a technical approach with the lifts. I make sure like I maximize my leverages to the roof. I don't want to like leave any inches of the ground. It's same for squat. So I have very long femurs, very short torso. So for me, when I go into sumo position, when I spread my legs, obviously it's gonna be the range of motion is gonna be less, and I'm gonna be able to bring my hips a little closer to the bar. So that's an advantage there. But then I have long limbs, so for the bench press is a little harder. It takes a hit.
Wait, so let's just say 785 deadlift.
Yes.
What body weight was that?
157.
157.
Yes.
All right. So just to give you guys a reference,
that's like 5 times your body weight.
I weigh 175. So I've got like almost 20 pounds on you.
Yep.
All right. And my heaviest deadlift at that weight, around that weight, was like 500, 495. Which is
for a normal human.
For someone who doesn't like, I get it's good, but just so you guys can realize and really, compare the two, I had 20 pounds on him and I was able to lift almost 300 pounds less than him. That's crazy.
Thank you. I don't even understand myself sometimes.
Yeah, like weighing 140 something pounds and lifting almost 800 pounds is absurd.
You don't see that every day. That's for sure.
I've seen you on like those, I think it's Sports Center, like reels and stuff like that. I've seen videos of you.
A few times. They posted me a few times this year, last year also.
Yeah.
I mean, since that, I've been very blessed, but it's pretty awesome being able to like motivate those people, and build an audience, build a family. I call them my family more than anything.
So what is in competition specifically, what is your best total?
1480,
1475.
And I was I did that around, I was a little heavier, so I didn't make weight. I was probably 150-ish. My base total at 148 was 1450.
So that's like,
so it's almost 10 times.
That's like 10 times. So you're literally lifting 10 times your body weight.
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, you know what? I'm still not satisfied.
Which is ridiculous. Because how old are you now?
23.
I mean, you got a long time to train.
Yeah, I have years in front of me.
So you said your total's at like what, 14?
So for around 1450.
So what is your goal right now?
My goal
total.
So I have one goal at that weight class, and I guess I'm 8 weeks from doing it because I'm competing in 8 weeks.
Okay.
I'm currently prepping for that. I want to be able to break that 1,500 pound barrier.
Okay.
And break that 700 pound barrier on deadlift.
In competition.
In competition at 148.
Okay.
So if I do that, I will break the 10 time body weight total. And also be the first to lift 700 pounds successfully in competition in that weight class.
I was going to say, you have to have records, right?
Yes.
So are these like all-time records? So are these state records? Like, what are these exactly?
So if I do 700 pounds, it'll be all-time. Nobody ever touched remotely was close to doing 700 pounds.
For your weight class.
For the weight class. Yeah. And that's something I've been chasing because, being the first is, like, being second is cool, but being the first of doing it.
Well, yeah.
It's
if you're not first, you're last, man.
Exactly. I don't want to be second. I don't want to be placed third. I want to be first.
Damn, that's crazy.
So then, if I successfully do that, I am not stopping. I am getting a nutritionist and I'm putting on size.
Yeah. And speaking of, like, so do you have a coach?
I do have a coach.
Okay.
So used to.
Okay.
I had a lot of coaches.
Okay.
Probably like 2-3 coaches.
Okay, so like when you were pursuing powerlifting, you've had coaches.
Yes.
You weren't necessarily doing this by yourself, at least when you were like doing really good.
Exactly. So at first, like everybody, you try to coach yourself, but then you need the kind of guidance. So I started getting coaches and stuff. And then I understood what works for me, what the methods I need to use, what I need to do. And eventually over time, like, you won't necessarily need a coach to like get stronger, but you might need a coach just for guidance, you know, because it pushes you, There's somebody hanging behind you.
Yeah.
So
apologize for the people doing lawn work outside.
Sorry, guys.
So I mean, you don't necessarily need a coach to help you get stronger, but do you feel like a coach's experience helps you with Because obviously, I think you are pretty good. Like you said, you're very technical with your lifts, so you probably don't need a coach to like critique your lifts, like your form necessarily.
But again, an outside opinion is always important,
But what about like with like programming and stuff like that? Like, do you do that on your own still?
So, no. So, I mean, the one good thing about the coaching, like, I've seen a lot of methods.
Yeah.
Like, because I've had a lot of coaches, so I know how people like working. So I was able to like now, if I get like, for example, in the future I get another coach, I'll be able to come with like something is here. This is how I work.
This is what worked for me.
This is what worked for me. This is what doesn't work for me. What do you have to offer? Instead of just diving into a coach at first and be like, oh, but let me try it out, and then after you realize that it's not probably the right thing.
And like, I guess with your goals, you probably don't want to waste any time training for like 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and then realize that that's just not going to work for you.
So funny enough, I had a coach for 6 months, and it's kind of what happened. I was with him like for 6-7 months last year, from like probably I would say July up to like the end of the year, and it was not a good experience. Like, we didn't work out well. Like the picking phases were not done well. I was training very sub-maximal for that whole time, so I kind of got weaker, and then I went to something else, and my lift, like literally in 2 weeks, just blew up.
And so, like, I guess, like, during the meets, during the competitions, do you have someone with you there to help you? Like,
so usually that's the coach's job to be here and handle you. He's a good coach. So I had people coming in and handling me, or a good friend that knows and trains with me and know what works. So I either try to get like either my coach that is currently coaching me here, or a good friend of mine that knows me to help me and handle me, because it's a whole day, at 9 in the morning, you gotta be ready to have a max squat on your back.
Like, you gotta be ready to go, like, right away.
You gotta be ready.
So as far as your training and stuff, like, I don't need to know the like specifics of like your training program and all that stuff, but what is a typical day for you? Like a workout day? Like, how do you, like, are you spending like 5 hours in the gym? Like, are you, you know what I mean? So, because when I go to the gym, I'm trying to get in and out of there in an hour.
So,
like, what is a typical gym? Like, what time do you wake up? When do you usually work out? Like, that type of thing.
Okay, I'll give you a typical day. So, for example, I wake up around like 9 in the morning.
Okay.
So that's like if I don't have class, like for example, I don't have classes, so I wake up around like 9 in the morning, get a breakfast in, take a shower, open my computer, do my programming, coach my people, do my videos. So that probably take me like 2-3 hours. By that time, I'll be ready to have lunch. So I have lunch, eat decent amount of food, rest a little bit, shower, do a little bit more coaching if I have to, and then just head to the gym. I usually get to the gym around like 3-4 p.m. And then I do believe that powerlifters spend an absurd amount of time in the gym. Yeah, like, it's crazy. So you have to squat, you have to bench, you have to deadlift, but also you have to do bodybuilding. And it's just not one squat. It's like sets. You start with the top sets, which will be your heavier loads. And then you have back down sets. And then sometimes you have even back down sets with variations. And then you switch to another lift and you do the same. So the compound itself might take you an hour and a half, like an hour if you work fast.
That's just one movement.
An hour if you work fast, to an hour and a half if you have a lot of sets. And then obviously you gotta rest, and then you gotta warm up, and then you gotta do all the accessory work. So around 3 hours for me.
So in general, you're spending about 3 hours in the gym
every day.
Damn, man, that's some dedication, dude. 6 days a week too.
6 days a week.
Damn. And is that just in preparation for a competition, whereas in general you're in the gym about that amount of time?
So no, it's in general. And even when I prep for a competition, it's even more. So because I do more stuff.
That's some dedication, man.
It is, man.
So if you're in the gym for like 3-4 hours, like, are you eating and stuff? Like, I've seen those videos and stuff where like powerlifters are sitting in the gym and they're like eating donuts and like eating a sandwich and stuff.
I'm not the biggest eater, but I have friends, for example, that one guy called Bob Matthew, #1 lifter in the USAPL, by the way. Came out of nowhere. But he comes he enters the gym around 6 p.m. He doesn't leave until like when he is on prep for a big competition with money involved. He leaves the gym around 2 in the morning, so that's like
Damn.
6 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? And he comes with like a big chug of like bunch of like calories, like milk, like, and there's like 4,000 calories in that shake.
Yeah.
So he just does his training and drinks that, fuel the body as, and you still put 4,000 calories, but for the amount of hours he spends, he burns it all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's I talk with a lot of the people that I work with. So obviously when I do my personal training, it's 1 hour, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, because they only have an hour, we try to maximize the time. And we don't take a lot of rest periods.
Short rest periods is very good.
Obviously, you know, they don't have the goal of lifting 700 pounds. But it's funny. I always like to explain to them that, you know, yeah, there are people that go to the gym and they take long rest periods because they're lazy and they're messing around on their phones or talking with their friends. But people like you know, if you're squatting 500 pounds or deadlifting 700 pounds, you can't keep your rest periods at 30 seconds, like something I do with my clients.
Let me tell you also why. Because when you want to be able to train to competition standards, you want to, in a sense, when you're trying to mimic competition standards. And when you compete, every time you do one attempt, you will wait a good 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you're used to doing one lift and then only take 2 minutes, by the time 15 minutes passes and you have to do your second lift, you're cold.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you got to play around and see.
So it actually works out into your advantage to prep for these meets by taking these long breaks.
They do.
Yeah. A lot of people that don't understand powerlifting probably think you're just really lazy.
Yeah, that's known. Yeah.
There's kind of that joke where you know a powerlifter when they're sitting on a chair next to the squat rack.
They sometimes they bring their own chairs and their own commercial gym.
I mean, that's what people do in my gym because obviously you know there's a good amount of powerlifters in my gym and we have these folding chairs and you know a powerlifter when they're sitting next to their bar just hanging out and like on their phone. Yeah, because I mean, again, you know, when you guys are lifting such heavy weight, you do need that break. It's not like me doing bicep curls or like 20-pound dumbbells. I can just take 30-second breaks and move on to the next one. You guys are just, you know, squatting, benching, deadlifting like super heavy weight. So you guys have to take that rest period.
It's mandatory, honestly.
Yeah. What about your like? So obviously you talked about maybe getting like a nutritionist like in the future. So what do you eat?
So in the morning I will have 2 cups of oats.
Okay.
Which is about 400 calories.
Yeah.
Cup of orange juice, 2 scrambled eggs, and white toast.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
It's probably around like, I don't know, like 800.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
There. And then just from there to lunch, I just try to hydrate myself. And then for lunch, it's very simple what I eat. It's literally rice and a protein or potatoes and protein. So carbs and protein. Could be salmon, could be chicken, could be beef, anything you can think of. And then hydrate. Yeah. And then do the same for dinner. Yeah. And that's about it.
So you eat pretty clean.
I eat clean.
Yeah, that's good.
I try to eat clean.
Do you know about how many calories you take in a day?
Not a lot, but if I had to pick a guess,
probably like 25.
25.
Yeah. Do you think that's enough for a powerlifter?
For me, for maintenance, I guess for me, for my size, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend that seems pretty low for a powerlifter.
Because I've been used to doing that. Okay. You know? And I'm also used to intermittent fasting. I'm so used to do all that stuff. So like, I'm fine like having low calories and go training, because I have to keep a certain weight again. If I throw in another meal, my weight might blow up. So at the moment, it works fine for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, don't change anything, man.
But then, like I said, in the future, eventually,
you're probably going to put on some size and move up to the next weight class. Yes. And then new goals, right?
Exactly, new goals.
What about supplements? Are you taking any supplements?
Not even, just pre-workout.
Yeah, pre-workout. That's it.
That's it.
No creatine.
No creatine.
Protein shakes.
I get all my source of ATPs and all that stuff, protein from real food.
Real food.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
good. It works fine.
Yeah. Damn. Nice, man.
So I would like maybe like if I start throwing that and plus one meal.
I mean, I'm surprised you're not taking creatine, man. Everyone takes creatine.
Everybody, but me. I tried it for like 3-4 months when I first started training.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like I was able to like bench 185 for like 4 more reps.
Yeah.
But then I stopped it and just.
So why didn't you keep going?
In my head, I was like, It's just probably mental more than anything. And then I stopped doing it. I kept getting stronger. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Imagine if you were on it and it actually worked, though.
Yeah, I know.
Because creatine is one of like the most well-studied like supplements.
It is, but the thing is, it also stores water, and that can be too heavy.
Yeah.
So that's
I guess
mainly why.
that
That's
is
mainly
true
why.
too.
So that's why if I want to get heavier on the heavier side, definitely do it.
And so this next question is one that when people found out I was going to interview you, it was probably the most sought after answer to a question.
Yeah.
Are you on steroids?
No, I'm 100% natural.
Because you have to understand that most people are like, there's no way someone who weighs 145 pounds can deadlift over 700 pounds. It makes no sense.
So
how is this guy?
There's a way that somebody takes steroids and weighs 145?
That is very true, actually. I don't think so, how can someone be on steroids and stay so small?
Yep. And how can somebody have such, like, if you look at, okay, if you want to put in this perspective, it's very easy and simple to know if somebody is taking stuff. But if you look at their bench press progression, over 2 years, if somebody goes from 225 to, for example, 365, that's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
If in 2 years it goes from 225 to 290, those kind of looks like
reasonable.
Reasonable. Yeah. But again, like it's very, to me, it's a compliment.
Yeah, it's a compliment, right?
It's a compliment.
Because people think you're taking some extra stuff to get stronger, but you're actually just
you're
just a freak.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, when I'm about to start taking stuff, you all gonna see a difference.
You're gonna see some even more. So
they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he was 100% natural.
If we think you're on steroids now, imagine when you're actually on steroids and the numbers you're gonna put up.
Yeah. But 100% natural. I'm a tested athlete. I do get tested every time.
I was gonna say, like, don't you get tested in those things?
Yeah, I got tested like 6 times, 7 times already.
Okay.
So,
100%
natural.
And it's true. I mean, obviously, if you were on steroids, you probably would look like someone like The Rock or something, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's
with how hard you train, at least.
You can easily know by the skin color. Skin color is the thing.
Yeah.
If the skin is a little bit like purple and a little more pale, like, okay, that's kind of weird. Obviously, acne and stuff. You look at my face. I'm 23. I look like a 17-year-old kid. Like, I don't look old.
Yeah.
Like, steroids makes you age fast.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that proves that I'm natural.
Yeah. Well, there you go. He's not on steroids. It was like legit. Everyone was just like, "Is that guy on something?" Like even people, like, for instance, my clients. Like, I have older clients, younger clients, people that don't have no idea what powerlifting, bodybuilding, any of that is. They just come in and they just work out for general health.
Because if I see somebody reverse the question, right? It was the situation. If I see someone that does this at that weight, obviously I'm not doing that. I'll be like, this is very suspicious. What are you doing? What are you taking?
This is like, again, obviously you've been in my gym, you've lifted heavy weight in my gym, and I've had people that are not in the weightlifting world, they're looking, it's like, how is that possible? He looks so small and he's lifting so much weight. Is he on any drugs? And I was like, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know personally, but I don't think he is. Go ask him if you want.
No, I never got approached like that. Like, are you natural? No, never.
Yeah.
But
no one's asking. They're too scared to ask.
They're asking me they don't ask me. They claim on my comment section. Like, all is like, this guy is not natural. I got it like 100 times there. Yeah. And I also get the famous sumo is cheating.
Yeah, that was another question. I mean, obviously I'm in the fitness realm, so there's a lot of powerlifters and stuff like that. You do sumo deadlifting, and for people that don't know sumo deadlifting, it's when you basically have your legs super wide and you're maximizing leverages and stuff like that to lift the most weight, right? What do you say to people that say that is cheating and that is like an easy way out for powerlifting?
Thanks to C-Bomb, because of him, since he made that claim on all those like TikTok 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, they're like, oh, Chris Bumstead said sumo is cheating. He's Mr. Olympia, 6 times, whatever. Now, whatever he's saying is right. Sumo is cheating. But that was a joke. He was actually joking when he said that it's not cheating, because if I tell C-bomb to go and deadlift seventh place for the same amount he does conventional, he won't be able to because he's not able to be in that position.
Yeah, yeah.
It is not cheating. At the end of the day, when it comes to powerlifting, you're trying to lift.
You lift the weight up, and that's all that matters.
The most amount of weight.
That's all that matters.
Exactly. Do whatever works for you. You know, some people can do sumo, some people can do conventional or are better at sumo. Just like they're better.
It's just like life, right? You maximize whatever you can, right?
Exactly.
You not take advantage, but you want to do whatever is best for you, right? So, like you said, depending on your anatomy, how your body is set up, there's just going to be certain things that are best for you, and you're able to lift the most weight, and that's what you're doing.
Exactly. That, and you will eventually learn that over the years of like lifting. You understand the proper mechanics in the movement and the mechanics of your own body as well.
Yeah. And again, you know, I pay attention to like weightlifting, powerlifting, and stuff like that. So I guess there has been a recent potential rule change when it comes to bench pressing with the arching and stuff like that. And I can't remember her name, but this was years ago. There was this girl who would be able to do, she was a powerlifter, obviously, and she was able to do this ridiculous arch to the point where she would arch her back so much and she would go so wide with her hands that her bench press was literally like an inch of movement, and it would count.
Oh yeah, now you have, it's not even an inch. So basically the elbows, they technically remain locked. It's just a rib cage movement.
Yeah.
It's nothing else.
And so now would you say that's cheating? Because aren't they thinking about changing rules and stuff like that?
In the IPF at the moment.
Okay.
So International Powerlifting Federation, they're trying to change that rule. And I think they're trying to not even minimize the arch, but completely remove it. So in a sense, you'll need a flat back.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about that?
For me, it won't affect me much because my bench is not. Yes, I still have an arch, but my bench is not that high.
Yeah.
Very competitive at all. So
but don't you think that's kind of messed up because it's just like deadlifting? You can do it however you want.
Yeah, it's true, but eventually, like it's a new sport, new rules, you know. Yeah. So I'm not very surprised. I'll go by the rules no matter what.
So it doesn't really affect you.
It won't really affect.
So you don't really care then.
Because everybody's gonna have to be under that rule. Yes, if you look at the database, most of the IPF world records for bench press, they've been broken with very broad arch.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they try to put that in and see if they could change that.
I mean, because that's the same as the sumo deadlift, though, right?
It is kind of
right. Because if you just widen your stance even more, it does shorten the distance that you have to lift it up, right?
I still remember when I first started sumo, my range of motion was twice as much to what it is now.
Yeah.
Over the years, so maybe one day say no more sumo.
Yeah. You know? Just curious. Yeah. Because I remember reading about that, and I was just like, I wonder what he thinks about that. When it comes to like powerlifting and stuff like that, so obviously there has to be times when you failed, right? So tell me about like a few of your biggest failures when it comes to like powerlifting, like competition or training or anything like that.
I mean, I do fail a lot. I like pushing myself to the absolute limit when I train.
Yeah.
And I'll get also very frustrated when I fail. So like at the moment I'm frustrated just because I haven't been able to break that
700 in competition.
Exactly.
Which you've done in the gym. So that's why it's like in your head, right?
So many times the past year, so many times. And every time I go to the platform, I shit the bed.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
why do you think that is? Obviously it's a long day,
it's
right?
It's a long day.
Yeah.
You max out squat, you max out bench. And then at the very end, last lift of the day, which is number 9 or number 8, you got to go max deadlift.
Yeah.
And usually I cap around like high 600s.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to break that. So I've been in that cycle for like 3 competitions now. So we'll see how this one goes, but I will never give up.
Yeah. So like
it's meant to be.
How many times have you shot, like you went into a meet planning to hit 700? How many times have you done that and failed?
So my meet in Kentucky last December, I tried to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't even break the ground.
Okay.
Then I had another meet in what was that? March. I wanted to go for March. The bar, I tried it on my second attempt on deadlift, didn't budge. Third attempt, the bar went up, but then I did that salsa maneuver where I started shaking, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then third time, which was about a month and a half ago, I think, that's when I actually did 683, which was already a world record in my weight class. And then I went 701, took a fourth attempt, because you're allowed to take a fourth attempt once you break a record. And I was right there. I was like almost locked it out.
I think I remember seeing that.
And I fell back, and I was like, I stayed on the ground. I was like, just pick me up. I'm just, I don't want to get out. I don't want to get up. But it's keep getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
So
you failed 3 times.
I failed 3 times.
How do you overcome that? Like, so, because you have to be pissed off because you know you can lift 700 pounds. I mean, you can lift over 700 pounds, actually. So how do you overcome that failure, and how do you keep trying to go again? Because a lot of people, when they fail, let's just say 3 times, they're like, all right, maybe it's just not meant to be.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm very persistent into what I do. I'm very competitive. So, I mean, every time I fail, before I used to put myself in that mindset, very negative mindset, where I used to overthink a lot, and I used to let those thoughts like get into me, and then it used to affect not only like my lifting, but my life. Just in general. Yeah, my life in general, my mood. Every time I go to the gym, I don't have any motivation. I'm just pissed off and sad. And I was like, you know what? Let me try to take those negative thoughts and take them and convert them into positive energy. Yeah. And since I've been doing that, it's like I always try to find good and bad. Yeah. You know? So I felt the 700 pounds, you know, once, twice, thrice. But like now I'm like, hey, it's okay, because maybe when I'm actually gonna break it, I'll have more. Yeah. So I'm just trying to like play around with it.
Yeah. You gotta stay positive.
You gotta stay positive.
You know, I tell people all the time, you always have to stay positive. There's always something to take away from your failures. There's always something to learn, right?
Always.
Yeah.
It's the biggest lesson. You gotta fail to succeed. Yeah. You know, you gotta fail to succeed. You gotta learn how to take the failure.
Yeah. Because obviously everyone fails, right? Like failure, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And obviously you will get upset. Like no one wants to fail. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants first place. Everyone wants to get, hit new goals and stuff like that. But it's not always gonna happen.
But don't you think that'd be just kind of like too easy?
That would be boring.
That'd be so boring, because everything you want, you have. Like the journey will have no meaning.
So you had, like you said, that's what success is, right? So you need to fail. You need to take those failures, learn from those failures, and you have to use that as fuel. You got to learn from those. You got to fuel yourself to try to, break that record or do whatever, hit that new goal, set a new goal, and just keep going at it, right? Yep. Yeah, that's good. My cousin was really big on having a positive mindset. He was the reason he got me to think that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously there's failures, there's things that scare you, but you always have to just remain positive and just go about what you're doing, because even if you fail, you will always be able to learn from that. Yeah. And obviously you are using that same thing. You know what I mean? You have a positive mindset because you failed 3 times and you spent so much time prepping for these competitions and stuff, and you fail, and yet you still keep coming back at it and trying to crush it. Yep. And you still haven't done it yet, but I have a feeling you're going to do it soon, man. And I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Let's see. And so obviously you want to break that 700. You want to get into that 1500 total. So
those are my short term.
Yeah, those are like, hopefully those happen. What do you think, this year?
This year.
Hell yeah.
By the end of the year.
And what's after that, man?
After that is just
put on weight.
Put on the weight.
Yeah.
Like
so if you go to the next weight class, what deadlift would you need to be the record holder of that weight?
I can actually tell you. Let me grab my phone. Can I?
Yeah, go grab it.
Yeah. Let me see.
So obviously that's going to be your next goal.
Hmm?
That's going to be your next goal, right?
That will be the next stop. Yes. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Let me know what is the
So
new
there is a
goal.
database that you can for people. It's called Open Powerlifting, and it's a database that tracks all the numbers from all the competition in powerlifting
Okay.
from all federations. So I click Open Powerlifting right here. Cool.
Yeah. So for the next weight class, when you put on muscle.
So obviously, again, there's like raw and wraps.
Yeah.
I'm in the raw division.
Yeah. Raw.
So raw, again, we're gonna go by deadlifts. So by deadlifts and no ages, just so for example, 148, right here. So the weight class above will be crap. Raw full power. Sorry, there you go. Event, there you go, full power. So as you can see, so that's the under 148. I'm number one tied with that guy called Daniel Clements.
Yeah.
So that's like overall all federation.
Yeah.
If I want to go and do the weight class above, will be under 165, and 771 is the number one spot.
Damn, you gotta hit 771 pounds.
Under 165.
And you gotta be under 165?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
But then if I keep going a weight class above, it'll definitely break the 800-pound barrier. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So
I guess that's the next long-term goal, right?
Exactly. So break the 700 in the 148.
And then 800.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to put you at first.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, around 800. Like, I'll take 782 at that weight class. But yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the thing is, like, I'm so technical that gaining weight might potentially not benefit my deadlift.
Yeah.
Because of the leverages.
Yeah.
You know, you have a little thicker belly, you lean forward a little bit more. Then again, you gotta play.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. I'll have to go belt this.
Yeah. So you say you do virtual training and stuff?
Yes.
So obviously you make money off of that. Do you make money from these competitions and stuff?
So I've made money in the past, but it's not a lot. Obviously, I've probably have like 6 to 7 competition under my belt so far. So I've done one which was an unsanctioned meet at Unleashed. It was good. It was like $1,500.
Okay.
But they're doing those pro series where there's a lot of money involved online for USPA or WRPF, which is the main 3 federations. For example, they have the Virginia Pros, and they have $120,000 cash prizes for the best lifters.
Okay.
And then same thing for the American Pros that we have with WRPF. It was probably like $50,000 of cash prizes.
So this is all new though, right? Like,
because it's a new sport.
Yeah.
Right? There's not enough money into the sport just yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if it gets broadcasted a little bit more, if ESPN gets involved and stuff, all that stuff, then there'll be more money coming in and more money coming out for the lifters.
So in general, you're not really making that much money from these meets, man.
You make money from what comes outside of powerlifting, which is obviously
the coaching,
the sponsors, the content creation, the influence, all that stuff.
So like, do you have any sponsors right now?
I do have a few sponsors. Yes. I do have people that supports me and help me, which I'm very grateful for that.
Okay.
Just as goes like supplement, clothing, and gyms that do sponsor me. So that's even, like, for example, they cover traveling, they cover stuff.
So that makes it a lot easier.
Meals, it makes it easier for me too, because again, I'm still young, you know. I'm trying to make it out there, but I make my money from coaching. I make my money from the sponsors and from.
Are you making money? Yeah, I was gonna say, are you making money off of social media?
Yes,
because obviously your social media has been popping.
Yes,
which is good.
So I do make money from that. Those creator things from, for example, TikTok. You have a creator funds, so they do pay on the daily. Same thing for Instagram. However, Instagram, they just literally now they just started paying more content creators, so like they cut it by 10. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like you're getting 10 less time money.
Yeah.
But it's still good amount
I
of
mean,
money.
it's still money, right?
Money is money.
Yeah.
I just say, no, I don't want it.
But your main income is the coaching.
Coaching, yeah.
And like, how much time do you spend on the coaching? You said about what, like 2 to 3 hours a day?
So it depends it varies.
Yeah.
I make them lift like 5 times a week. So I have 2 days off. But when they lift, I don't know, like 3-4 hours a day.
Okay.
But it's just like because I really try to like get them strong, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna give the same stuff to everyone and just like you're on your own and whatever, just pay me. No. When I'm with somebody, I make sure they, first of all, they want to be here. That's what they want. And I'm always make sure they always have to come to me and they have to write their goals to me, what they want to achieve, and I will take them there.
Okay.
If they come to me with no goals, I was like,
I mean, what do you want me to do?
I'm just trying to lift. No, it's not gonna work. Like, you got to be a little bit more motivated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like your main income. And do you make any products? And I ask this because what's
It's
up
on
with
the way.
this carpet?
It's on the way. So we started this carpet thing. Yes.
Yeah. So you bring this little carpet around with you.
Ever scroll through Instagram and see people deadlifting on carpet, it's because of me.
It's because of you, right?
Yeah,
Because
me
I'm
and my
not
friend,
I'm gonna be honest. You're the first person I have ever seen carry around the carpet to deadlift on.
Yep. It's not. You don't see that a lot, but yeah.
Why? What is the purpose of the carpet? I know why, but explain to the listeners, what is the purpose of the carpet? Why are you going out of your way to carry around a carpet to gyms to lift?
Okay, let me tell you 3 reasons. First reason, for the friction. First of all, when you do sumo deadlift and you go on the stall mat, when you spread the floor out because you have to apply downward pressure, your feet might slip out. Right? Yeah. And you don't want that to happen. When you're on a carpet and you have decent shoes, you can literally plant yourself and spread out and you won't move.
Yeah.
So that's the first reason why I like using those carpets. Second reason, when you go to competition, they make you deadlift on a carpet. So it's comp specific too.
Yeah.
You try just like what we were just talking about. When you go and take those long term period to like rest, it's the same thing. When you go on a competition, you deadlift on carpet.
Yeah, you want to mimic the meat.
You want to mimic the meat, exactly. Yeah. That's reason number 2. Reason number 3, sometimes carpet do come with some form of patterns on there, and you can use those as checkpoints or check marks to make sure your toes and your heels are perfectly aligned, symmetrical to the bar in respect to the plate. So you know you're even. When you know you're even, now you can generate force and pull.
Yeah.
If you're not even, you will generate force, and then the lift might shift from right to left or
that makes sense.
Back and forth.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, like you said, with the pattern, it's repeating the exact same form every single time. Your foot.
When you go to competition, you don't have those patterns, but subconsciously, you know, like your feet is gonna.
If you keep doing it in training, more than likely when you go to the meet, you're probably gonna set up your feet and everything the exact same way.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So now, like, I've came up with that idea of creating my own carpets for the people because they asked, they really wanted to see a carpet with phenom branding. So I created a first prototype. Yeah. And I've been testing it for 2 months now. Yeah. And it works wonderful. I've done a lot of PRs on there. Even my good friend Danny Grigsby that just almost deadlifted 1,100 pounds.
I saw that.
Huge.
Ridiculous.
It's a human rhino. It doesn't make any
that dude's
sense.
massive.
He looks like hell. Like, and then he deadlifted over 1,000 pounds. It works fine. Of course, like, I gotta make sure. So this week I'm supposed to get prototype 2, and then I'll have to figure out. I'll have to like finalize everything, whether I want to use this one or that one, and then there's the whole marketing process, all that stuff. It'll come with a backpack. I might throw in a 12-week daily program with it. Okay. Like a coupon code, all that stuff, byproducts, all that stuff. So it takes time, But
You should make it like the yoga mats where people have like the little straps
the straps
that like hook on it.
I thought of that with the strap,
Yeah.
with the hook.
Because I see people, all yoga people
Mm-hmm.
are always carrying around their mats, and they have this little strap that they just like put on both
I was
ends.
actually just talking to my business partner, and that's actually a good idea because it'll be cost effective too.
Yeah, I mean
So-
it's pretty cheap to get a strap on there. So hey man, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right there.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Brian.
When do you think that's going to be out? When do you think? Oh,
So-
ballpark.
So it was. I thought it was going to be out by the end of summer.
Yeah.
Which is by the end of August.
Yeah.
That's when I wanted the first launch to be. But with everything that's going on, we're looking more like
Maybe the
end of September. No. End of September or beginning of October.
Oh, nice. So
yeah,
not even the end of this year.
Yeah.
Nice.
By the end of the year, I want to have a second version.
Yeah.
Like the Phenom Carpet Part 2.
Yeah.
You know?
Now that's exciting because people complain about the platforms at my gym, so I need the carpet.
Oh man, I got you.
You know for sure. Like no
soon
one.
enough, it'll be like, look, take those platforms,
Yeah.
add out so you have free space. You just lay a carpet on top
Everyone's
of the
always
stall mat.
complaining about my platforms and saying how they're slippery, so they don't want to deadlift on them. So I need those carpets to be made soon, man.
Oh yeah. Trust
so
me, they'll be-
so my clientele are happy. The members are happy.
Oh yeah, they'll be nice and clean.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, we're over an hour. You know what I mean? Like I said, I always try to keep my podcast at about an hour, but I always like to end my podcast with one simple question.
Yep.
Your success, your current success, obviously you're still going to be crushing it. You still have other goals to reach. So you're not done, but where you are currently, do you attribute that to luck or hard work?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
And how so?
Hard work because I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
For sure. And luck because, I was lucky to know about lifting. I was lucky that I actually put myself out there, and I was lucky that I got noticed.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is people around. We have 8 billion people in the world. I'm sure you will find a version 2 of me.
Yeah, someone
But
who's just as strong.
Just as strong, but they probably, one, don't have social media, two, don't like or care about posting on social media.
Yeah.
So a little bit of both.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Good. And then what do you have next? So obviously you said you have the carpet coming out, hopefully end of September, end of October. When's your next meet?
So my next meet is October 8th. It'll be in Salisbury, Maryland.
Okay, so that's close by.
Close by, 2 hours.
Yeah.
2-hour drive. And we'll see how that goes. If it goes good, I got invited to that one, but I have also another one. End of November.
Okay.
At Exile Fitness. I don't know if you check it out.
I've heard of it, but I've never been there before.
It's a museum.
Yeah.
It's 60.
I've seen videos
It's
and
huge.
stuff.
It's huge. He has a lot of good stuff there. But there's a competition there. I will do it.
Okay.
I will do it, and then probably take some rest and recover. And I might do the Miami Ghost Clash in January.
Okay.
And then do the American Pros 2, which will give me 6 months.
Okay.
I'll take
So
6
you got
months
some
to build-
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then as far as social media, man, where can people find you?
So you guys can find me on Instagram at king_67. It's king with 2 N's _67. They can find me on YouTube at Nabil Deadlift. Very simple.
Yeah.
And TikTok will be Bibou, BIBOU _ the fool, DAFOOL.
Okay. So I'll grab all those and I'll list it in the description so that you guys can follow him. You guys can check all of his ridiculous videos of him deadlift over 700 pounds and soon 800 pounds, right?
Soon.
So, but yeah, man, thank you very much for being a guest. You're my third guest. I'm truly enjoying this podcasting thing, man. It's so
cool.
fun.
It is.
It's really fun. Not meeting, but obviously I met you a long time ago, but talking to people and getting, to pick their brains and going in depth on kind of their minds, their mindset, their process of everything that they do. So it's been really fun. So, if all the listeners out there, if you guys can, download the episode, share it with people, rate it, follow and subscribe with whatever platform you're listening to, it'd be greatly appreciated. So until the next episode, don't stop achieving, and peace.